What's up, guys? How you doing? Back with another weekly update. Jesus Christ, we can never complain when we see a big green candle like that. You little ripper. Just going to dive through the price, look at where we've been, where I think we might be going, and just do a bit of analysis on the market and have a little update for you. Again, if you like the content, don't forget to like it, subscribe, put the comments in if you've got any questions, anything you disagree with or you like or you want to hear more of. I'll always write back. All right, let's dive on in. Guys, it looks pretty good, right? It's firstly, as a group, particularly the people in my WhatsApp group, we just held 85% of our crypto through this period of time. And it's a really tough thing to do because the amount of fear in the market, like the fear and greed index was smashing into the floor, the lowest it's ever been, down at the lowest that it's ever been for as long as it's ever been there, right? Like that is savage, guys. There's only a few other times where it's been that bad. As summer last year, it wasn't even as close to that bad. We still had these relief rallies. This was just bottom, boom. Like back here at coronavirus, it was down there. It still doesn't look like it had anywhere near as much fear as that. And the bottom in 2018 looks like it had half the amount of fear, the length that it was actually down there for. So to hold 85% of your crypto through something like that, it's not easy to do. It's very easy to. There's a lot of people that would have been selling low 20s into the teens, selling in the high teens, 18, 19, saying, I think we're going to 10, 11, 12, let's buy back then. I heard that a lot, people saying that, and so then to sit through all of that and just go, okay, no, we had price targets, we're looking at the indicators, we're analyzing the market, and we think we need to hold. It's a really good result. And, whether you're up 10% now, or you're still down 10% now, or wherever the portfolio's at, we didn't start entering until we got into the 20s. And, the market still now, even after this pump, is still down 65%. Right? So let's have a little look. Info line. We're still down 65% from the top. So there's people that have been getting spanked, and us sitting on, whether you're up or down 10%, it's a good place to be in. And, it's not going to be straight up. I'm not saying that we're in the clear and here comes the bull market. Maybe this pump keeps going, or maybe it rolls over and we start to make a higher low through here. We can dive into what the potential scenarios are. That would be healthy. Higher low, higher low, and pump our way out of this would be great. But, look, we just had so much fear in the market, from interest rate hikes, from inflation, from the NASDAQ getting smashed, to full-blown capitulation from fear of cascading liquidations due to contagion from terror, this exchange going down. If we can hold these price levels through that, I reckon we've bottomed. I think that we're on. Worst, one scenario is that we come down and just pop past there, which would be a liquidity grab where everyone just shits themselves and they go, fuck it, we're going down to 10, 11, 12, 13, so I'm going to get out now. And then that ends up marking the bottom. Judging by how strong this candle is, and judging by, if we look at some of the momentum indicators like the stochastic RSI, I don't think we're going to do that. It was something that I was watching out for over the past week. I was talking about in the WhatsApp group, a potential Wyckoff style accumulation playing where we came down and pipped out that bottom. But even though my hypothesis was maybe from, let's switch back to Bitcoin, maybe from 20,000, 21,000 back down to here, I still made it very clear that I wasn't selling anything. I didn't sell anything. For me, the 21, 20 19, 18, 17. It doesn't make a difference. There's such minor moves. I think we're going to look back one day and be at $100,000. So whether I got in at 17 or 21, I don't give a shit. So even though it was a chance we had a white coffee and back past that low, still wasn't selling anything, trying to do a 15% trade. When you're this oversold and at this position in the market, I'm not trying to get cute and do 15% trades. So we stayed 85% in through this bottoming period. If we roll back down into here, then there's still 15% on the sidelines that I will jam back in. But I'm happy. I love it. I think it's a good place to be in. And now everything's going to take a lot of time, and we've got to be patient. We've got to be patient because things are going to take a while. And what the first thing I want to mention, which I've said a few times on the channel, is, we get a 20% run. I don't recommend, this is not financial advice. Nothing that I say in this channel is financial advice. This is just my own opinions on the markets, right? This is what I'm doing. I'm never going to sell after like a 15, 20% run. I'm never going to sell 15, 20% run. Like, fuck that. I'm not interested. We start looking at 50, 60% runs. Maybe I'll take 15, 20% off the table. But I'm looking for like 400, 500% gains over the next 2 years. So these, like, I get scarred from stuff, right? I played this run perfectly, literally perfectly. And I know people that bought here, sold here, and then they never got back in and missed the entire thing. And it's like, ugh. And I learned my lesson back here when I bought here at 3,850. And then when we got to here, I sold it because I'd done like a 30% run, and then it just kept on going. And you just sit on the sidelines and you're like, why did I sell everything? So it's just really important just to be patient, chill. We're not gamblers. We're not speculators either. We're long-term investors. And so we want to be delicate. Market's overheated. Okay, we'll grab a little bit out. Everyone's shitting themselves. Okay, we'll put a little bit back in. And it's slow movements. We don't need to do too much. Overtrading can be a disaster. What do I love about what we've just done over the past 2 months is something that I was speaking about back in March, when the price was up here, is that it'd be really common to do a resistance into support flip. And so I've shown the video a couple of times where I show we go up, make a high, come back down, break through the high, come back down, retest it before we start going again. And if we zoom in on this, it just is so clean. How can you tell me that technical analysis doesn't work? Look at where that candle came to, right? 761.12. Now, if we come across, look where we touched. Look at that wick. It's literally straight to that line. It's so perfect. The resistance to support flip was so perfect. And obviously it's not guaranteed that we've bottomed. I think that we have. I've been saying that for a while. As soon as we touched down into those teens, I was like, yep, I think that was the bottom. It was a beautiful touch there. We're seeing things like the RSI start to kick up. So if we're looking for price targets, the first thing I'd say is, rather than try and pick a price target, something like using the downsloping RSI line is probably the best bet to get your first sort of, if you were going to take 15% out, as this pings into that, would probably roll over. How low, I don't know. But then eventually at some point, as soon as we break, on every time frame, there's this down sloping line on the RSI, which I've been speaking about for a while. As soon as we break above these lines and we start forming higher highs and higher lows in the RSI, we are on, mate. That is the confirmation that it is done. The bear market is done. So we haven't gotten out of it yet, but we knew, just looking at the RSI, that this is probably the main reason that we didn't sell anything over. I mean, we stayed 85% of our cash. We started entering as soon as we hit the 20,000s. We started fucking going in really hard, and then we've held through this crazy sort of crash. And it was, and I said 1,000 times, hey, I'm never selling when the RSI is this oversold. It's never been this low in the entire history of crypto. So there's no way we can be this oversold and that I'm going to get shaken out of the market. So I'm happy that we've managed to hold through, because a lot of people shat themselves. Now they're sitting on the sidelines, they don't know what to do. And chances are a lot of them are going to wait, and then they're going to get in because it's like, fuck, we've just run 100% and I'm not even in yet. And that's when we come back down and like, we're going to make new lows, and they sell, and then it comes up and they're like, shit, I got to buy again. And suddenly they've traded their portfolio to shit. So I've said a bunch, most people will look back and be like, I wish I just bought once and held. So that is where we're going to be taking profits and re-entering, but that is a better strategy than going up. We just rallied 20%, or, I'm going to take half of it out now. Like, chill out. We got time. The momentum indicator on the weekly is looking really good. So we're just crossing up above this line here at the 20 level. This is solid. Obviously we can pull back here and come back down and make that low at some point. Could be tomorrow, it could be in a week. It's never going to go straight up. It's always going to have these ups and downs. But this is looking good. The momentum's starting to swing positively. We're probably going to get a pretty serious interest rate hike in the last 10 days of July. So it'd be good to see how that plays out with the markets. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with everything, where everything's at. It's fucking scary. It's not easy, and for those of you that are on the ride, I think we're in a good place. It's a long race. It's a long road, and we got time. So I'm still heavily in Bitcoin rather than the altcoins. I still think this is a Wyckoff and it's going to play out. So, I put in these yellow lines, and this got set ages ago. Bitcoin bottoms in when the Bitcoin dominance hits here. It was pretty spot on as it came in and smashed into that. It's kind of when Bitcoin bottomed so that happened around the 13th to the week of the 13th of June. So we can go compare. So in TradingView, this is a compare button. So we can go Bitcoin USD, new pan, and that puts the Bitcoin price in below. So we can get that. We can have a look that, as this sort of touched through here, it was in the phase of Bitcoin bottoming. So I'm pretty happy with that as well. Now, when this chart's going down, it means altcoins are outperforming. So what we did is we moved a chunk of our Bitcoin into some altcoins or Litecoin when this got to this price level. And we rode Litecoin down to about here as it outperformed Bitcoin, because it was outperforming Bitcoin, and then we rotated back into Bitcoin. So the past few weeks hasn't been, altcoins have outperformed, but nothing's been invalidated. It looks like this was our first test. Now we're having our second test. We wouldn't want to lose this level, and I don't think we're going to. I reckon we're going to find by September, where Bitcoin dominance is back up here, and we've seen Bitcoin outperform the altcoins, and I think we're going to still have some sort of sideways in this trading range before we pop out. And I think Bitcoin has its day in the sun. I've got no reason to believe that this time will be different. Each time Bitcoin's come out of a bear market, Bitcoin's performed the best first, and then money's spilt over from Bitcoin into altcoins. Something that I've been looking at for ages is as Bitcoin breaks its previous all-time high, that's when the sentiment shifts to such a state of euphoria that altcoins outperform. So back in this cycle here, as soon as Bitcoin touched here, this is when altcoins outperformed. We can go compare, look at BTC.D, and we can see that as Bitcoin came into this period here, as it broke 20,000, right, as it breaks its previous all-time high, we look down, that was exactly as Bitcoin dominance topped, and then altcoins outperformed heavily through there. And it's the same as this period back here. As Bitcoin broke its previous all-time high here, that's when altcoins outperformed. And so I'm just expecting the same thing to play out again. I reckon that Bitcoin's going to dominate until it gets to the previous all-time high. And then while that happens, this does that. And then altcoins just go boom, 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 and altcoins smash it again. So I'm still heavy Bitcoin. And I like that. In these market conditions, I really like that, because it's, if we roll over from here, then altcoins should get punished more than Bitcoin. So it's still a scary market. So I don't want to be too speculative. Like, I'm not playing with pennies. I'm not looking for penny stocks right now. I want to make big gains and then look at some cool new projects. And for me, Ethereum as well. I'm into Ethereum. I've always loved Ethereum. For me, it's just the safer bets. You know, what's going to be here in 5 years? Bitcoin is, Ethereum is. Nothing else is guaranteed to be thriving in 5 years out of all the cryptos. So that's the way I look at it. I want to preserve assets. I want to play it delicately and not get too carried away. Oh, I want to, this token's up 100%. I want to do 100% gain, and it's like, there's going to be moments where a lot of these coins just don't perform at all, and you want to make sure that you've got a good allocation to the staple ones that will be here. So, what else do I want to look at? So taking profits. I don't really want to take much off the table in the 20,000s at all. There's a chance that there's room. When I was speaking about the RSI before, as it hits that top of the RSI trend line, that could be a good time to take some cash. There's some interesting levels through here. Like, obviously, there's a huge area of resistance through here, which should play a pretty serious role. Like $30,000 mark, a big whole number, somewhere that we've found support on for ages, plenty of times. That should play a decent role as resistance. So that could be an option to take 15, 20, 25% max out. But again, I want to maintain that 3-year time horizon where we're going to 6 figures. So do I want to start selling a lot at 30,000? No. Now, this theory is, nothing's been invalidated, and to me it looks stronger than ever. So that was this support line through 2018, 2020 becomes our resistance line. So that's when I'm going to be taking 80% out. Maybe we come up and hit that. Maybe we don't. Either way, at some point, I reckon we're going to hit it. And when we hit that, whether it's next month, next year, in 3 years, that's when I'm going to be getting a shitload of cash out. I really think that this one is going to play the biggest role and be the absolute money maker for us. Having this hold support here, yes. It's really, really good. It's a really positive thing. If we started dropping down to the low teens, suddenly this theory where we've got this support line through here, it kind of invalidates it. Like, there's a beautiful setup. If we zoom all the way out on the BLX, which has the entire history of Bitcoin, gets a little bit, there's a lot of lines going on. And I might just bring these in to make it a little bit clearer. I might bring this in to make it a little bit clearer. Same with this one. And we can start to see that's like, there's this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful pattern playing out where it's like, if you start to get, start to measure the decrease in these lines, it kind of looks pretty perfect. And so right now, this line to me looks good. It looks like it's lining up well with how much the rest of them are declining as a percentage. If we came down to like here and started forming our base through here, then suddenly we've got to draw this line all the way down through there. And it doesn't look as good to me. I'll tell you the main reason why is because in all of these cycles, and I said this quite a bit, all these cycles, we drag this out. See, it still formed that line. It was where we compressed into. And it's the same as this support line through here. If we drag that all the way back down, it is where we compressed into. And so this forming the base right there, if this ends up being our support line through here somewhere, if we drag this out, well, guess what? It's where we compressed into, which is beautiful. And if we keep on dragging these lines back, then we can also see that this one here, it found beautiful support right before it rocketed. And same as this one here, it found beautiful support on that same line right before it rocketed. And even back here, it's like it's kind of like right where we. Anyway, I digress. I think that this is perfect. If the price came all the way down to here and we had a support line through there and we dragged that line out, then it doesn't have that same compression. So the pattern really, to me, looks like it's repeating. That was the perfect area that we needed to hold support on. We did it. Theory's looking more and more validated every single day. I feel good about this. I think we're on. I think we are actually on. Time, patience. We got to just chill with it, all right? So what else? One more thing before I'm going to leave you is that I've spoken about this before, but this is, to me, we had our 5-wave theory, right? And this, I'm going somewhere with this. Our 5-wave theory, we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, A, B, C. So we had a Decker cycle, 5 waves from 2010 to 2020. Now we've started a new 5 waves. And so I believe that was wave 1 and that was 2. So it was, wave 2 was an A, B, C. So we're about to start wave 3. Now, if we look back at the previous one, when we did wave 3 was this thing through here. And what I like about it is that in the wave 3, it had impulse, it had the 5 wave characteristics within it. So it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so it had the 5 waves within that wave, which is really, really what we want. That's beautiful technically if we're going to use this LA wave analysis. And so why I really like that is because each time we had an up wave, so wave 1, we came up and tested the previous support line from the previous market. So we came up and tested that, got rejected by it. Wave 2. Wave 3, we came up, got rejected by it. That same support line that came all the way back through here, got rejected by it. And then wave 5 came up and touched that same support line. So in this wave 3 back in the day, we had 1, 2, 3 opportunities to grab profit and re-enter lower. So if we get that again, we're going to be fucking on, because it would imply something like this. It had implied that this wave 1 kind of shoots up, hits that trend line, comes back down. That was wave 1. That's wave 2. We come up, boom, test it a second time, maybe around the previous all-time high, get rejected, come back down. Probably not as low to that line, that support line the next time. And then finally in the 5th wave, come back up, test it one more time, and then roll over and go into another bear market. But this would give us 1, 2, 3 times to be able to exit across this trend line. So I think that's going to play a huge role. I really think that's going to be the biggest money maker for us. And we'll be keeping an eye out with all these other indicators, all these other moving averages, trend lines, macroeconomic news. And if things start to line up with stuff with this, then it's like, boom, we've got a confluence of indicators and we can get really, really heavy with our trades. So right now, I'm just chilling, I'm just holding. Who knows, we might have a pullback tomorrow and it's like, oh, everything gets scary again. But that's okay. If we can hold through the Celsius crash, the Terra crash, we can hold 20, high teens, 20,000 through those areas. Peak inflation expectations is Dunskies. If we can hold this area through there, I can't imagine news coming out that sends us back past there. And I love that it stayed on top of this line. It really is huge. This theory is staying valid, is just beautiful. All right, now I had one more thing I wanted to show you. This being wave 2, right? An expanded flats. And I've been speaking about it. This is an expanded flats for ages. So it goes A, B, C. So we can see in Elliott wave, the expanded flats, A, B, C. The C wave finishes significantly past the A wave. And how far does the C wave go? It says that wave C should be between 123.6 or 1618. So if we go here and zoom in, so 123 to 161 is where the targets should be. So if we get a fib trend-based extension and go from the top of A to the bottom of A, back up to the top of B, drag that across, you can see we came down straight to 161. So this was the extreme of how far a wave C should expand. So we've come down to a really key level, and everything's lining up nicely. I love that we're back above the 200 weekly moving average. Like, there's just, I think that right now there's quite a bit of euphoria in the market. Not so much euphoria, but everyone's like, yeah, we're on. So expect scary pullbacks, quite possibly straight to this line that we've got drawn in here. Although I think that line should actually be a little bit higher, maybe like that. So it wouldn't surprise me if we come back down and retest that before we start to go again. I don't know, but obviously things aren't always going to go straight up, but we're back above right now. Let's delete this. We've poked our head above the 200 weekly moving average. That's interesting that the weekly moving average is 22.6, and we are, this chart doesn't update because it's the BLX. Let's look on Bitstamp. So right now we're above the 200 weekly moving average. If we can print next week's candle staying above this level and using the 200 weekly moving average as support, and close next week's candle up, mate, then we should be off to the races. I love that. I don't know, it's just nice. Thank God we're getting some relief. I'm glad we held 85%. I'm going to stop rambling now. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. 3-year time horizon. We're going to hit 100K one day. We just got thrown a whole bunch of shit and we managed to hold straight on top of the previous all-time high. It's beautiful. Resistance into support flip. We should get more favorable economic conditions coming into the midterm elections. Oil has rolled over, it's below $100 a barrel. Wheat's down 40% from its all-time high. Corn's down 40% from its all-time high. Housing market looks like it's rolled over. Sydney and Melbourne had a 1.4% drop in the month of May, or it was the reported numbers. It looks like there's lots of states that are contracting from the housing market. Lots of people are pulling out of contracts to buy houses because the interest rates are going too high. There is demand destruction happening, which will obviously work in our favor in the long run because the monetary policy and physical policy should ease off, and we should start getting some more dovish reports from the Federal Reserve as we enter Q3, Q4 of this year. And I apologize, I haven't really been on much on the channel over the past 2 weeks. It's just like when we're in a sideways pattern like that, I don't really want to be the guy that pops online and says the same shit every week. So we're chopping sideways and we're waiting for a breakout. So I hope you enjoyed that video, guys. Again, if you've got any questions, put it in the comment box. I'll write back. I love the chats. Anything you disagree with, anything you want to hear more about, fire it at me. If you've got any friends you think this might interest or benefit, feel free to point in my direction, give it a like, hit the subscribe button. And we've got the WhatsApp group where I put in all of my specific trades and give more updates, and that's $100 a month. So if anyone wants to join that, guys, then I love building the community and having a little team that we go through the trenches with together. And that's all for me, team. I'll see you guys next week.